Greetings, everyone. This is Yoftahe Mulatu from the Yoftahe Show, coming in again with the Use Mindset, our Wednesday night, 8 p.m. We are live on YouTube and Facebook channel. Please share, comment, and join us tonight for the Use Mindset series. Tonight, I have Nichole, Lydia, and Khalid joining us for this Use Mindset. We're going to have a lot of learning to do. So all we ask, join us, ask a question, interact, everything that you may have. Like we will be learning what does it take, how to change your mindset, designing your life so that you want to live the life that you want. So that it's not anything by accident or a coincidence. We're going to talk what it takes to be able to be successful in America. So once again, thank you all. This is the Use Mindset. This is the Yoftahe Show. I want to say welcome to the Yoftahe Show. Nichole, it's a pleasure to have you here. For those of you, the great motivator, I like that title also that you have. So for those people who don't know you, if you can share a little bit about yourself.
Well, of course, you just said I'm Nichole, the great motivator. I motivate with the call to action. This has been what I've been doing for a long time, motivating the greatness out of anyone that is in my circumference because I am great. So, yes, I am Nichole, the great motivator. I am a purpose engineer. I am a fearless and unapologetic vessel of the Most High, and I have been qualified, assigned, and ordained to motivate you straight into your greatness.
I like that. That's like we're doing a sermon already. So, Lydia, let me come to you. It's a pleasure to have you in here. If you can tell us your age and a little bit about yourself so that with the people who are joining us get to know who you are.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lydia. I am 18 years old, and I am from Northern Virginia in Burke. I go to Lake Braddock Secondary School. I'm a senior there, and I am really passionate about computer science and algorithmic justice.
Good to have you here, Lydia. Khalid, let me come to you. Good to have you here. So if you can tell us a little bit about yourself, and then thank you for joining the Yoftahe Show.
Hi, my name is Khalid, and I'm a junior in high school right now, and I live in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I do a lot of things. I'm part of the Cambridge Youth Council, and I participate in the Black Students Union at my school. I also participate in a lot of political clubs and political action.
We'll talk more when we come back as we are later on. So thank you for joining us again. This is the Yoftahe Show. We are live on Facebook and YouTube Live. For those of you who are joining us, please make sure to share, comment, and then we have a lot of learning to do tonight. So Nichole, let me come to you once again. Thank you for being here, the great motivator, like I said. So sometimes, like I said, people see someone successful, a speaker, you have a coaching business. What does it take, like, for you to be able to say what you went through? People don't understand. So if you can share a little bit, like before being successful, what did you have to go through, and then when is that mindset shift happen for you?
I have always had a positive mindset, right? I've always been very fearless and unapologetic. The thing with me is about owning your power, because sometimes you can have too much power and it can turn people off, right? So before being an successful entrepreneur, I started at Dean Witter Reynolds at the age of 18. That was my first job, 17, 18. I didn't work at McDonald's or anything like that. I owe it to my mother as well. My mother made sure, back in her days, it was about being a secretary. Women were known as secretaries. So my mother said, listen, in order for you to find a job and find a good job, you have to know how to type. You have to know computers. She taught me Word Perfect, Alt Control Delete, to do Word Perfect, Lotus 1, 2, 3. So I was working the computers. I was being groomed mentally to be a worker, right? Which gave me skills and qualities. And back in those days, when work in the corporation, the people, your co-workers, they kind of poured into you and help increase your skills. So I remember there was a lady at Dean Witter Reynolds. I worked in the AR and the AP department. She worked in another department that was higher up than mine, like an analyst department. And she would stay after work to teach me Microsoft Excel when we was changing from Lotus 1, 2, 3. So those were the things that prepared me and gave me an open mind to want to seek. Another thing is my upbringing. I grew up in the projects, and a lot of people have things to say about the projects. A lot of people always say bad things. However, the projects did good for me because I grew up around people that were 5%ers that had self-knowledge, knowledge of self, sat in ciphers and did, what's the mathematics. So these were the people I were around that allowed me to analyze my thinking. See, a lot of times we don't analyze our thinking. What produces our thoughts, which forms our ideas, which then forms our conceptions, which projects our visions, right? So, and also aligning myself. I have to say I wasn't born in the church, but I must say that the Most High had his hands on me because I've always sought greater good. I was never the individual that was drawn towards negativity. So with that being said, I've always paid attention to myself. I think that's what allows me to be very successful in what I do and to go far in whatever I would like to do and who I am, because I'm always analyzing self. It is very important to analyze self because this is the thing. We're not perfect, but we are purposed. And very early on in age, I was able to see my value.
I think you unpacked a lot in just in that moment. So I want to build a little bit. So people sometimes it takes a long time to find out what your value is, because depending on your surroundings, and you just talked about the project, for example, there are a lot of kids in the project sometimes being successful, or there are so many kids in there, they think reaching 23 is a goal. And sometimes you do not survive out of those projects. So what shifts, like understanding your value set, so for those kids who are listening, who are in the project, how do they aim and have that higher value to be able to get out of that kind of mindset?
The key thing I said here is knowledge of self, right? Because most times we're looking outside of ourselves to validate who we are versus looking inside to show worth and value of who we are. So I say to every project kid, any kid growing up in the slums, any kid growing up in the ghetto, I don't care where you are, right? It takes knowing and accepting, appreciating and respecting you. That's where it starts. Even the things you don't like, because in order for you to change, you have to know. And if you know, then you are able to evolve and transform from that thing that you don't like. But if you are not realistic, and you don't have a keen eye and insight as to who you are and being real about that, then you can never have a mindset shift, because mindset shift is about analyzing one thoughts. How am I thinking? Is this thought set? And then the thing is thinking and feeling. So what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling, is it adding up? I pay very close attention to Nichole. It's important, because if I'm thinking the way I'm feeling don't add up, I have to step back. I can't go out and conquer anything outside of me if I'm having trouble conquering and battling the things inside of me.
I like that. So I'm going to build on that one too, because just like the saying goes, most of the time what's stopping you is you. And just finding out first, but you hear so much, you absorb so much. So at some point, if you're just spitting out or you're just reflecting only what you saw around you, you're going to have to be able to come out of that shell, and you're going to have to be able to call it teaching. If someone has to help you mentor. I know you mentioned about your mom, that she set you in the right set of mind, but for some of them, unfortunately, don't have that kind of right parents at home, because those parents might be going in some kind of struggle themselves, and then they don't have really much to give and teach the kids. So for the kids, just to build on that, you already said it, shifting that mindset. But for the kids in that neighborhood, for the kids who don't have, they cannot really learn much from their parents, how do they find someone like you? How do they get out to try to say, I can do better and I know I'm better?
So when you look at yourself, if you see your parents and they don't add up, but they don't add up to what you are seeking, then you have to again pay attention to you, right? What it is that I want, right? And then you ask the question. See, most times we always say a closed mouth don't get fed, but it also don't get heard either. I can't hear you if your mouth is closed, so I surely can't feed you. Do you understand? So in order for us to eat good, we have to seek well, right? It's like when you go into the garden, you're going to pick your tomatoes and your whatever it is, you're looking to make sure that those tomatoes is good. We're seeking the good fruit, right? Most time, and I say this to the youth, we get discouraged because the first person we go to is our close ones, and we don't seek outside of that. I encourage people to seek outside of what is near and dear to them. Okay, that's too easy. See, it wasn't my mother that taught me Excel. Yeah, she taught me how to type, but then it took the lady at the job to teach me Excel. For her to say, I'm staying after work, and for me to say, you know what, I'm going to stay and learn. No, that was my decision. And this is what I tell the youth. You understand? Right now, you have the power to change anything that you want to change, because right now you have made a decision to do right versus wrong. See, that's the thing. Once you make the choice to say, you know what, mom, I think I see a better way. That's when you go and do the better way. So now what I mean, once you reflect on whatever it is that you are seeing that you can do better, the realization is being able to do it better. So once you reflect, you have to realize. So people get stuck in reflection and they get stuck there. They stuck in their reflection. So it's like being stuck in the TV, being stuck in a movie, being played over and over and over again, and you can't escape. But when you realize that you're stuck in the TV and it's playing over and over again, is when you can then get up and get unstuck.
I like that. We'll come back and build on that. You're watching the Yoftahe Show. We are live on YouTube and Facebook channel. Please invite friends and family to join us tonight for the Use Mindset. Before I ask you a question, I'm going to go to Lydia. Lydia, what question would you have for Nichole?
So when you want to change something in your life, and you know how they say it takes like 21 days to build a habit, what are some tips that you have so that we can maintain consistency and focus while we're maintaining a new habit, while we're trying to get a new habit?
Mindfulness, right? Because a lot of people, you have to do the action. That's why it says it takes 21 days. Because in that 21 days, you have to be acting. But how do we stay consistent? We stay mindful. We stay mindful, right? Because we can tend to forget. And let me explain something else. When it's in these 21 days, you are challenging yourself, right? So as well, be patient. Take your time. It's a mindset change, right? So if you mindset shifting, you have to be mindful about your thinking, your thoughts, your ideas, and your concept. You have to be mindful about what distracts you. Again, your thoughts, your ideas, and your concepts. What comes in to distract that? So it's about being mindful. And the first tip I give, okay, when people are doing something to change a habit, is because you want to become ritual. How serious are you about this change? How serious are you? Right? First, use the severity. If it's a number 10, that's what you want to think about all day, every day. There's no excuses. Do you get where I'm coming from? There's no excuses. So let's take, for instance, what do you want to change about yourself that you feel you're struggling with?
Well, currently I'm struggling a lot with procrastination and finding the motivation, for example, to do school, especially like as a senior.
Okay. Now, the first thing that's going to be great for you is that you're honest. Listen, I'm procrastinating. I'm a senior. I know I'm on my way out, and my mind, I'm done. Yeah, that's my mind. I'm done. That's how you see the smile. That's when you're going to start changing things. You see, you guys to realize that, you know what? I just shut myself off because I think I'm done. You see how powerful the mind is? How powerful the mind has shut your motivation off because you're already done with school. Now, I want you to switch that and say, I need to go out with a bang. Instead of being done, how about leaving that sucker with a bang? What type of impact you would like to leave? Who needs to remember you? And who needs to follow your lead? You understand? That's what I would like for you to do. How I'm going to make an impact when I leave here. You understand? If I'm already at a 4.0, who needs to know me? What do I need to be doing? What connections I need to be making right now in school to excel? That's even in the work you're doing. Even in the work you're doing in the senior year, what does this mean for me? How I'm going to leave this school with a bang? What type of work I'm going to leave? What type of impression I'm going to leave on these professors when I leave here? Will they remember me?
I like that.
Does that help?
Obviously, did that help, Lydia?
100%. I'm so psyched. I'm ready to go.
We'll come back because you have accomplished so much, so you'll tell us a little bit more about yourself later on, Lydia. So let me come to you, Caleb. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, what question do you have for Nichole?
So I hear you talking a lot about having the right mindset and like kind of having like the growth mindset. So how would you recommend one person start getting into having that type of mindset and start having an outlook on the world with the same mindset,
With a different mindset? The first thing, mindset shift happens with you paying attention to your thinking, right? So let's say for you, what type of individual you are. If you have a situation, do you think of it positive or negative? How do you look at things? Like, is everything, when something's about to happen, let's say you go for a business loan, right? Do you think I'm not going to get it? Or do you think I'm going to get this? And you put that energy out in the air. I'm asking him a question.
Oh, yeah, okay. I thought it was rhetorical.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's rhetorical. I'm asking you because the thing about these things is what questions is you got to get people involved because to be honest with you, I'm going to help other people listening to you though. You feel me? We're going to help people listening to you. And you know what this does? It allows you to know your power, that you don't have to be ashamed of yourself. You're not perfect, you're purpose. So it's okay to have flaws. It's okay to say, you know what? I think like this with situations. I'm not the best person that think positive and have a positive outlook when I'm going for something. That's the first step in conquering the renewal of the mind. Because in order for you to think different, my friend, you have to know you're thinking wrong. And once you can honestly look in the mirror and say, don't let someone else tell you, that you can honestly say, you know what? I don't put enough positive energy in the universe. I don't have enough positive energy moving through me. I need to change my thinking, my stinking thinking, I call it. Okay. And then that's when you start to say, you know what? Nope. I do that a lot of times. When I feel like if someone doesn't get back to me right away, I quickly go that they're trying to play me. Oh, they was messing around. And I said, no, Nichole, how about life happens? What if something happened to them? Now I start to check my own stinking thinking. Okay, so the first thing I would like for you to do, friend, if that's you or anyone else, before someone else check your thinking, you check your thinking. And if it doesn't sit right with you, before it doesn't sit right with someone else, it has to not sit right with you. And you have to be honest with yourself. And I hope that helps.
Did that help, Caleb?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That's good. I like that. So let me unpack a little bit from what you just said. You're watching the Yoftahe Show. We are live on YouTube and Facebook channel. Please make sure to like and join us and ask any questions so that we can enjoy tonight's program. Nichole, the mindset shift that you talked about, Lydia asked a very good question about what does it take to be, like you told her, like she was done in her mind that she needed to say, okay, there's more to do, because whatever she needed to accomplish, sometimes we get into a checkpoint and we set our goal, and then once we arrive to that point, it's a done deal, and then we shift back and we forget our consistency. And then just like everything else, in some programs that we do may take 3 months before we change ourselves, depending consistency. But being consistent, how do you check yourself? Like sometimes you have to draw the line how you are progressing in life. So what is the measure for you that you're advancing, that you're progressing? How do you check yourself? I mean, sometimes I talk about like having maybe someone, an accountability partner to help you, because sometimes you said knowing yourself is one thing, but we may fool ourselves because we don't know better. We may lie to ourselves because there is nobody else to really tell us what we did is not right or not. So how do we really get out of that mindset and have someone as an accountability partner, or making sure that we are progressing?
You ready? This is
I'm
going to be it's going to be simple, but it's going to be honest. It's going to be brutal. Okay. Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying. I don't lie to myself. I'm loud. I talk a lot. I'm a lot of energy. But I also know I love people. I love strong. I push hard. I like to see the best in people. See how that balance goes? You see? I'm quick to jump to conclusions, but I'm quick to check myself because I know I jump to conclusions. I don't need someone to tell me that I jumped in. I know I jumped to conclusions. I check myself first. And a lot of times we get so used to lying to ourselves that we cool with that. And then when someone like me come up and I'm so raw, radical, and real, it's unbelievable. Because who am I to talk to me like this, or to just put my stuff out there and to strip me naked like that? You know, it's about dealing with your rawness. And when the one thing that allows me to be unapologetic and fearlessly Nichole and can sit at any table, I don't care what you have. Okay. It's all about who you are. It's because I do not regret, nor am I ashamed of who I am. I know I come with flaws, and I'm okay with that. So what I do is because I know I come with flaws, I am mindful about who I am. I'm mindful about certain arenas. Do not be loud. No, you cannot talk with your hands all like this in this arena. Because a lot of times we put in too much emphasis on what other people think instead of just being. Right? And don't be so hard on yourself. The thing is that we're hard on ourselves is because we know we're not checking ourselves. We know we're not correcting our flaws. Right? So we quit when we are procrastinating. Then all of a sudden we walk around with this attitude and we mad at the world because we didn't get up and do something on time. And by the time we got up to do it, it was so much junk before it because we waited so long. Now we're mad at the world. Well, guess what? We have to start at the root. I had to deal with the root of Nichole. Nichole, how are you mad at the world and you waited 4 days? Oh, so now everything needs to be a rush and you're going to rush the worker? So now you're going to walk up in here and tell everybody they have bad work ethics and the morale sucks because now I'm under pressure because I waited 4 days? No, stop fooling yourself. And then know that you can't fool somebody else, and you won't find yourself being frustrated with other people because they're looking at the truth and they're telling it. Live within your truth. If you're a procrastinator, you're a procrastinator. And deal with that. And know that Okay, I waited 4 days to get this done. Things may not go my way now. Today is crowded. This is the crowded day. You get where I'm coming from? Oh, I got this grade because I waited until the last minute to do the paper. Didn't have a chance to check my grammar. I didn't put my best foot forward, but I want the teacher to give me an A. Right?
That's right.
So these are the things that I had to, because my life is serious. You see, I talk with my hands. I have to be careful. See, it's about being mindful. Mindful, because my life is serious. I can't control the world, but guess what we all have control over? Your life.
Good. I'm going to build on stuff because with the use mindset, whenever I talk to the use, some of the things is like understanding and being aware of yourself. And you just described it very well, that you have to be self-accountable for yourself. You are the owner. You are the master of yourself. So you have to make sure that to take charge of your life. But in the same mindset, most of our youth suffer from, call it from bullying, from peer pressure, and that is the biggest struggle from mental health, suicide. We see so many our youth struggling because they are trying to conform or please others and become like others, and they get peer pressured into drugs and other things at that age because they are trying to be part of a group. So what would be your advice for the youth who are trying to please someone? They're still trying to figure out who they are, and then they're trying to find a place to belong to.
The thing about that is, to the youth, it's easier said than done for them. I can always tell them a million times, be you, don't worry about those people peer pressuring you, blah, 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 blah. But let's be honest, that's easier said than done. It takes a whole village. It takes a whole village. It takes the teachers, it takes the parents, it takes the strangers to help this child elevate and fully develop. However, if they don't have that, this is what I'll say to them. Deal with the mind over the matter. Yes, you're being bullied and it feels horrible and your mind know it's wrong. That's what you deal with, the mind. See, the body's going to want revenge because of what it's feeling. But the mind is going to let you know, listen, this is wrong. Don't go that way. Don't hang out with them. Don't sit over there. Most times we're too busy trying to fit in. We're too busy trying to fit in so they don't bully us. Oh, I'm not going to take this way home because I don't want to seem scared. It's not about seeming scared. It's about applying preventive measures. And I wish that I had a mom that showed me how to thwart and walk away versus face, because I was brought up in a hostile environment. My mom was great, but she was also the type of woman that was like, oh, if someone bully you, you better not come home or I'm gonna beat you. You better beat them or you're going to get beat. Could you know how stressful that is? That's double peer pressure. You right? Because I'm getting it from the kids, and then I gotta go home, and my mother's telling me, "What? You're a punk? You acting like this? What are you crazy?" Do you know how much unpeeling I had to do from the wrong training that I received? That wasn't right. That I wasn't supposed to be out there thinking like that. That no, it's not about fighting in and being hostile and beating them up and having revenge. No, because guess what that did to me? I didn't know how to problem solve. The first thing I thought of was touching someone. That is not how you get ahead in the world. I had to learn how to control my emotions, how to play chess and not checkers. And I say this, and it's easier said than done. That's why I want to tell you. It is so much easier said than done. You have some adults that are going through peer pressure and bullying on a job. So let me just explain to you, okay? No one's picking on you. We are all going through this thing called life. But I tell you this, the one that has the mind over emotions always wins. The one that think they way through the storm. Like, and be the eye in the song, will always see the daylight. Will never sit in darkness. I don't care how much darkness surrounds you, your eyes won't allow you to sit in it and see it. Your eyes will see you straight through it when you go mind over matter. That you don't have to be them. And let me explain something to you. Yes, you are to protect yourself. So if that means if somebody's bullying you, and I'm going to say this, it ain't about being tough. If you got to go to the adult, if you got to fill out a police report, okay? It's about being a better you. And know that you can separate yourself. If those people don't think like you, if they don't have a equal mind and a yoke spirit, it is okay to separate yourself, because I do that today. I do not deal with people that are wicked and evil at heart, negative and poor at mind. And I would rather sleep on the street, be homeless, before I sell my spirit and soul to get along. And you won't have to do that when you stand on who you are and do the things that you need to do. Get through school, finish what you need to do what you need to do for yourself, so you can stand on your own 2 feet. And if you can help, you have the right to, right? If you have the stuff to help, you can help. And if you can't help, then you don't help. Do not feel guilty about playing your part in your role and your limitations within your physical being, because we are bound by flesh, right? So we do have some limitations, but our power allows us to go borderless. So that means we have no boundaries, but we do have limitations.
That's right. Yeah, no border limitation. We have our mind shift. Our mindset is going to be what's just going to set us free. So I understand. And then just like Nichole said, it's not easy. I mean, we can say it, we can repeat it, but I just want to say we are here to help you through and make sure that something is struggling. You just have to report it. But as parents, as we will be able to support it. And then when you see something wrong, just make sure to report it. So Lydia, let me come back to you. I'm going to say we are watching the Yoftahe Show. We are live on YouTube channel and Facebook. Please join us, click like and share, and invite friends and family to spend the night with us. Lydia, let me ask you a question. So, and then another question that you have for Nichole.
Yeah. So Nichole, how do you live a life of fulfillment when you're always goal setting and focused on achieving? So how do you balance your drive with also being content and living in the moment and being present?
Because I allow myself to be happy. So when I'm goal setting, that's my drive that I love to accomplish. It puts a smile on my face, right? And whatever it is, I make sure I do it with all of me and understanding me, like knowing that I have flaws, even in my goal setting. The whole beauty about it is reaching the end of the line better than you ever were when you started. It's just not the finish line, it's the whole journey that I enjoy. It's not a race, it's a marathon. And when I'm running, I'm talking to everybody along the way. Thank you for the water. If I fall, I allow the people on the sideline to pick me up and tap me and heal me and band-aid me and then let me go running again. You understand? And I also want you to know, a part of fulfilling your goals and reaching and achieving is about doing the things that make you happy. So if a part of that is, oh, I like to dance, I like to go karaoke, I like to go and travel, then guess what? Once you've obtained a goal and you attained it and you accomplished it, now you get to go dancing and you get to go take a trip. That's what I do. When I accomplish something, I celebrate. That's the right. Even if I accomplish something and let's say I don't want to go away, I'll go shopping. I love shoes. I deserve a pair of shoes. And fearlessly. I wish somebody would say something. I'm going to get these shoes and you have to know that this is in you. This is in you. This is what I'm doing, because if I'm happy and I'm better, everyone around you will be happy and better.
Thank you. So that's very good. Caleb, what question would you have for Nichole?
So I would say, so I hear you talking a lot about living within your truth and holding yourself accountable, and kind of controlling your own life. Having control over your life. So I would ask you, how how have you, as a double minority, how have you, experienced life and dealt, if you have ever experienced like systemic racism or any type of racism, how have you dealt with it? And there's some things that are out of your control that you can't control, that's like within your life. So what is your response to that?
I don't tackle things I can't control. I just don't. I don't give it my energy. I leave it to the Most High, right? But the things I can control, I do. So when it comes to, I've dealt with racism, right? I dealt with people, we deal with that every day. What I do is I control who I am, right? And that's easier said than done. I know there's people's like, oh, we can hear that anyway. No, 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 no. That is the truth. That is the sole truth. Okay. And what I do is against people that have negativity, because that's what it is, I am the positive force. I stay positive even when I'm standing on who I am. Right. So if I meet somebody that is racist, I must stand on who I am, positive, and thwarting the racism. I don't back down. I'm a grassroots leader. I've been doing it for years. I own a non-for-profit in the Loop organization, incorporated for 5 years. I incorporated on my own with no lawyer. Okay, I went and got grants on my own. The formerly incarcerated, I found jobs for. I taught them workforce intelligence, how to navigate and comply in the 21st century thinkers market. Okay, and with that, we know they all face all kind of discrimination. But again, I'd say this to you, it's about chess. See, a lot of times, and let me tell you what I mean by that. A lot of times, most of you play checkers and you're looking for someone else to crown you. In chess, you are protecting your crown. And you have to be able to feed yourself intelligently with knowledge, and understanding is breeds wisdom. Understand this, knowledge is the key, understanding is the power, wisdom is the product of both. And in order for you to be savvy about how you deal with the things of the world that you cannot control, you have to feed your soul the knowledge. Be fearless and go out there and live it, the understanding. Learn from it and regurgitate it, the wisdom. What you doing is being the opposite of what's in this world and knowing that you have the power. Don't get tired, don't get worn out, because the many outweigh the very few. Okay, that's what we're dealing with. The many negative outweigh the very few positive. But that's the whole thing about a battle in the war. Right? And we are in this world with each other, not just ourselves. So know that once you get yourself together, and once you are firm in who you are, and you stand on authority about who you are, you will then become a vessel of change, because now they get to see the demonstration of goodness. Be that, fight for that. See, we fight for sneakers. We fight to be first, right? We fight to be seen, but we don't fight to be good spirits and souls. Fight for that. And be ready for the war. So what does the word say? I don't know about everybody else. I'm a fearless and unapologetic vessel of the Most High. Okay? And it says your armor. What do you think the armor's for? Why do you think in war they get suited up? You start to feed your soul goodness, you are starting to armor your spirit and your energy. Your spirit is your energy. And you start to protect that and know that it's okay to protect your energy.
I'm going to build on that because definitely you get up to protect the soul, like you said, and then the gear, what you're putting on you, and how you're protecting yourself is going to definitely matter. And you have to be able to pick what kind of gear you want to be protecting you. It's not just about putting something on, because once you touch it, if it's going to be pierced, when you're going to war, you have to have the right materials protecting you. So how do we pick the right gear to go to war?
Now, it's all on your belief system, right? What is your belief system? Because my belief system is in the source. Anything that has to do with the source. I'm not religious at all. I'm growth mindset. So that means I'm open to all tools, but I'm also aligned with the Most High. So what I do is I allow the good in me to direct me. If I know that this right here don't fit me, I don't wear it. I don't try to fit myself into something that don't fit me, right? And I'm okay with that. But if something fits me, I wear it. So I've read the Bible, I do Hebrew, I do it all. That's just me. I'm speaking from my perspective because for me, the source is over everything. So I don't religion, chakras, imposter syndrome, all of those are tools to reveal you. Now, once you have revealed you, what are you going to do? See, that's the whole thing. We're utilizing all these tools to find out who we are. And when you find out who you are, what's the next step then? Right. So some of us, we go seeking self, we find out who we are, utilizing all these tools, and we're still asking questions. I don't, and I'm gonna use the story because I don't believe in the Bible, right? But I believe in the word. Okay, and there are stories in there for a reason. Oh, you heard that? Stories in there for a reason. Okay, is to reflect and realize. You reflect on these stories to see that there's nothing different that you're going through today and realize that you have the power to be. So what do I mean by that? Didn't they mock Jesus? Isn't that a form of bullying? Did they not hang him for doing right? Are you not judged for being right? Are you not judged for being the one that want to be positive? Are you not judged for the one that does good in school and don't want to skip? Excuse me. Are you being crucified and hung on the cross because you're different? Right? Same difference. But did that stop? Did that stop Jesus? Did it stop the 12 disciples? Do y'all really read the story? Do you, instead of just reading it from a religious point, read it from your shoes? Read it from where you stand. That's how I read it. Like, wow, I get it. And that's why I fight fearlessly and unapologetically. Because when you say I am that I am, how could you not fight for what you are? How are you not willing to lay down your life for who you say you are? Why you think Jesus had to die? Because he said he was Jesus, and Jesus came to die to fulfill, right? He said, I didn't come to change the law, I came to fulfill it. And if he didn't die, and he didn't allow them to crucify him, then how could he say he was Jesus? Oh, right.
That's good. That's good. I like that. So you have a fulfillment that you have to fulfill it, but you have to follow through with what you're committing and doing. So the commitment, the consistency that we talk about. Lydia, let me come to you. You have this young age, you have accomplished so much. Tell us where you're going to college.
Yeah, so I'm going to Yale University to study computer science next year.
Tell us, how did that work? That's a big accomplishment. What did it take for you to get there?
Honestly, Nichole said a lot of the things that I've lived by. So mentorship was a huge part of where I am today. In middle school, a teacher invited me to join her club, and we ended up turning it into a nonprofit organization. And through that, it was just a space for me to be myself, right? It was a space for me to step into what I wanted to do. So we did a lot of stuff around STEM and making that more accessible to other underrepresented students, and building the skills for myself and turning that and helping to give it to other people. And so that's really how I found my niche and my passion. And then when I was going through the application process, not only did I have her support, there's also other girls there that are going through the same thing as me. And so we talked about accountability partners. And although it wasn't really being accountability partners, we were just a team and we were going through that together. And so the organization, the STEM Impressionists, I owe a lot of that too, as well as my parents. So I was born and raised in Ethiopia, and I came here when I was about 9. And ever since there, when I grew up there, my parents have always instilled the power of education for me. And so they did that initially. And then in high school and stuff, I took the drive to take the hard classes and to balance that with what I was doing outside of school. And when it came time to choose a college for me, I just felt that in my gut, and I had that intuition, and listening to yourself is everything. And every time I listen to myself is when I have made the best decisions. It's when everything has felt right. And so, so I felt a lot of what Nichole was saying, and it's really all about that mindset and knowing that it's for you and that you don't need a plan B, because if plan A is for you, then that's what's going to happen. And so that's really how I felt with Yale, even though I did feel a lot of imposter syndrome and maybe I'm not good enough, maybe everything that I've done wasn't good enough. But when it came down to the moment and when it came time to submit it, I was like, I did my best work. They're going to see that I belong here and that I share the values that they do. And it was that moment that I knew that I did the right decision by picking Yale. So after I applied early, so after I ended up getting in December, I didn't even apply to other schools because I was like, I did the work beforehand, so I don't even have to do any more of this. And so that ended up being great. Yeah.
Guess what? That reflect to realize. Boom. You just the formula R to R, you just said it. Reflect to realize. You said, listen, I already did the work, reflection. So realize that this is for me. Boom. And guess where you're going?
To Yale.
Bam. So boom to the bam.
Boom is right.
That's what life is all about. You see what you said? You said, I did the work confidently. You didn't hesitate. You didn't ask me. You didn't ask the teacher. You didn't ask your mother. You said, oh, no. I did the work. It's due to me.
That's right.
And this I want to say to people that do the work and sometimes it doesn't work out. That's why you have a voice. Because a closed mouth don't get heard nor fed.
That's right.
Absolutely. And
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you so much. I just want to add one last thing. And it was during that moment, when you want something really, really badly, with law of attraction and stuff, you're supposed to let it go, right? And every time I have let something go, and it's always come back to me. And so with Yale, I did let it go. I wanted it really, really, really badly, right? And I submitted, but then I also let it go. And I remember I have my reaction video. I remember saying if it's not meant to be, I was like, this is not where I'm supposed to be. Maybe I was wrong, but I was like, but if I don't get in, I was like, it's okay, and I will end up at the school that is meant for me. And so really believing that, and that is the key to really letting go. And so that's also important.
You knew that was for you. You knew it, right? Even when you was trying to pacify yourself, because that's what it's called. Let me pacify myself just in case, so I don't feel too. But you knew it's for you, because let me tell you why. You said I did the work. That when you said that part, let me tell you something. There was no playing in that. There was no second guessing that. You knew that from your toes. You said, listen, I did the work. I know I did the work. It's for you. And that's why you're in Yale.
That's right. I'm going to come back to that because that was a powerful way you said it. I did the work and that's it. The rest is done. So we're going to build on that. Let me go to Kaliab a little bit. Kaliab, tell us what you're doing. I know you do participate a lot in the youth activities. So tell us what you do for school at school.
Yeah, so right now I'm in 11th grade and I'm 17.
Speak up a little bit.
Sorry. Yeah, so I'm 17. I'm in 11th grade. I do a lot of work around. It's called Vote 16, and in Cambridge right now we're trying to lower the voting age in local elections to 16. So for like school committee members and like city councilors and everything, when there's elections, we want the youth to be involved in those elections because there's decisions being made that directly impact us, especially in the school committee. So that's what we're working on right now. And last year, we did a lot in the Cambridge Youth Council. We did a lot of advocating and a lot of work, and we actually got the Cambridge City Council to pass a home rule petition, which they allowed it to be they allowed the voting age to be lowered to 16 in Cambridge. So now our next goals are we're trying to get the state, which is Massachusetts, to pass it on their level because we need approval from the state. And right now, we're connecting with people from all across the state, from Newton, from different cities. We're connecting with people from like New Hampshire, and we're connecting with them to see what they have done and what kind of tactics they're using to, because we have the same goal. So we're sharing resources and sharing ideas with each other. And our next steps are try to contact our legislators and yeah, that's what I'm working on. That's like one of my projects I'm working on right now.
That's a big deal.
There's a big deal.
You know that? That's a big
Yeah.
deal. You get that pass, baby. You're gonna have a legacy. You need a star in Hollywood. No, I'm serious. This is dead serious. You doing real big work. This is like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Sojourner Truth work. You talk Harriet Tubman, because let me tell you, how many people are on the front line with you, but how many people going to benefit from the front line? That's
Right.
the difference. You do the math. That's why it's a big deal. That's why it's a big deal, because this fight that you're fighting today will last forever. It will last generations after generations after generations. So that's why I encourage you. Remember what I said, sticking to the good fight. Oh, it's going to be a war. Anything worth having, you have to fight for it. And know that, and listen, you're doing, and listen, because you're not doing what everybody else is doing, don't feel no way, because we need someone that's going to have the sense. We need someone that's going to think for the future. See, those people that may tease you, those people that's going to laugh, they don't even realize that when they get older, it was your fight that allowed them to be. They don't get that. It's your fight that's going to allow some of our youth to live longer than 21. That's going to be able to reach 40 and 60 and 80 that they're not reaching today because they're not voting. Okay? Understanding what local elections look like, the state look like, how it affects us in the federal, understanding the non-voluntary seats that go when you're running for council member, understanding what community board you are from, what district you are from, who represents your district, right? What are the funds that they give out for the council members? Each one of them have a budget. They get funds from the state. I'm trying to think of the name, but they give you funds to run your non-for-profit. They give you capital funds to run your business. What's the business landscape for the youth? That's what you got. Not only voting, not only being able to vote, right? But then what are you going to do when you're able to vote? How are you going to be active? Who are you going to hold accountable? These elected officials, when they get elected, before they get elected, you don't know who they are until election time comes, or until it's time to run campaign. You need a youth committee that interviews every person every candidate that wants to be an elected official in your district. The same thing they have the electoral college, they need to have a youth college for the voting. They have to come to you before they go on the big stages into the TV. They need to come to you and tell you what they're going to do for you. And does that align with the youth?
Amazing. So just like what Nichole said, we have as adults who don't participate in the local elections. Everybody waits for the 4 years thinking that's the only time we make a difference is just electing a president. And most of the presidents we elect don't even affect the day-to-day life in our cities, hometowns, and everything. What you did, Khalid, you just chose what affects me, and you got involved in it instead of just complaining, instead of being on the sideline. You chose to be part of the solution. It's a big part of it. Just like Lydia said earlier, you're doing the work. She did the work, and then you know what to expect out of it. Both of you, I'm really amazed with everything that you're doing. The flyer, when I did it, I didn't even know you guys were going to be speaking about it. It says, you are what you are today because of the choices you made yesterday in the past. There is no better tomorrow unless you are working on it today. Tomorrow's not guaranteed, but if God is going to allow me to breathe that breath tomorrow, I need to do the work today. Then I know, just like Lydia said, I'm going to steal this line from you, Lydia. I did the work. Do you allow me to steal it?
Right.
I did the work. Both of you are making a difference. What got you in Yale is not putting that application. What got you in Yale is what you did beforehand.
Do you understand that? No. I need her to really get that.
So
you are
keep saying that. Just like Nichole said at the end, you retracted a little bit. Take that back, scratch it back. I did the work, and Yale was mine.
Amen.
Yale was just waiting. They knew that you belong there, and Yale needs you. And Caleb, just like you're doing it, it's like the local election need to change. The voice of the youth was not being heard. You didn't say, I'm going to talk to my dad. I'm going to talk to my moms and the adults. Sometimes we don't understand what's going on in there, but you said, this affects me.
Amen.
So I need to take charge of it, and I need to be part of it.
And thank you.
And thank you. Exactly.
Yeah, I want to thank him and thank you. You know, we don't give enough props to you guys. We always want to say, oh, we want you to think mature. And then when you think mature, we want you to stay in a child's place, right? It's type confusing. Like, you either want me to be grown or you want me to be a child. Pick one. Like, and I'm saying, thank you. Because at the end of the day, you're going to help us when we get older. Right? When we get older, you're going to help us. And I just want to say to you, Lydia, can I say your name right? Is Lydia? Okay. I want to say to you, so your motivation should be that you did the work to get in Yale. Now I need you to blow Yale mind. Okay? I want to see Yale talk about you.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what I want.
They definitely will.
Okay.
So you're watching the Yoftahe Show. It's been a fun night. We are almost coming to the end of our program. So I want to come to you, Lydia and Kaliab. I'm going to ask you the same question. I'm going to ask one question to Nichole, and then I'll ask both of you, what did you learn today? What are you taking out of this program? So Nichole, and then I'm going to give you at the end to close it, talk about your website, your program, what we do. But before we get there, let me ask you, you heard the use, and sometimes there is a disconnect between, call it the adults, because you just mentioned it,
right,
and then the use. So what do you think the work needs to be done in order to connect that, call it the generation gap, or I tell you, you need to do A, B, C, D. All I can share with my kids is what I know. So not only I can give them my knowledge, but unfortunately, without knowing, unconsciously, I may also pass to my kids my limitations. So what do you say to parents and what do you say to the kids, just in general? How do we make those changes? How do you close that gap?
Well, the first thing I'll say is to the parents, if you know, this is not it's not a dictatorship between you and your child. Treat your child as a human being, because that's what it is. Your child is a human being, and you have to understand your child as a human being. Once the umbilical cord is cut, this individual is an entity within itself. So that's what I had to do with my son. I had to understand my son and then raise him off of my principles. So, and another thing that's going on, I tell parents, stop thinking that you don't need help. Get help with your parenting, please. Go get a therapist. I had a therapist throughout my son's junior high to high school. I had a therapist. So I encourage parents to get a therapist. It's not a dictatorship. You are the guardian. Okay, you are not the guard of the child's life. You are the guardian. So, and there's also programs out here that are helping parents, especially single parents, deal with being a single parent. Please seek out those type of programs. And again, I'll give my information at the end. I have resources as well.
Thank you. We'll come back to those. So Lydia, let me come to you. For those who are here watching, I thank you very much for tonight. You're on the Yoftahe Show on YouTube and Facebook channel live. Please share, comment, and ask questions. And thank you for spending time with us. So Lydia, let me come to you. It's been an amazing. We learned so much. I could do a whole program just on what you did and then how to get where you are. So we'll talk more about that. But what have you taken in this 1 hour program that we did? What have you taken? What have you learned?
Paying attention to your thoughts and your words, because they create your reality. That was one of my favorite things Nichole said, as well as like knowledge of self. And I think especially for people our age, that can feel like, oh, I don't really know who I am. And even I go through that a lot. But just knowing that what really knowing yourself is just aligning to whatever energy that you have inside, right? And so making sure that your external reality matches that internal reality. So that knowledge of self and working on that, and always making sure that you're right internally is the biggest takeaway I have.
And then you have to say your word before I steal it again.
I know I did the work.
There you go. And you know you did the work. I love that.
Right.
And self-knowledge, you said, that's a powerful one too. Understanding that, and you taking a lot of that. Caleb, let me come to you. What have you learned from today's program?
Yeah, so a big takeaway that I got from today is the mindset shift. Shifting from like a mindset from procrastinating and from kind of feeling sorry for yourself, and then shifting to like self-accountability, holding yourself accountable and following through with the commitments that you make, and kind of challenging yourself. So I think that's a really big thing I learned today.
That's good. Self-accountability is always what we're going to be asking. Even like Nichole said it, even adults, we have that problem, call it challenges. But at this young age, if you do realize self-accountability is what matters, we talk about peer pressure. There is only one you. You can only do you. There is nobody else. Everybody else is taken, like they said. So there is one you, and we need you to make your impact in this world. We need Lydia to go to Yale and make that impact. Caleb, we need you in that student election and talking to the local college mayor and everybody else, making that change for the future generation. Nichole just laid out that for you. Malcolm X make changes. Martin Luther King, they made a choice to be part of the solution. Yeah. It's easy to point at problems. It's easy to look at this is struggle. Look at the mountain, but we can go through those mountains and break and make a road. Whenever you see in so many ways you travel, the highways that you see, they had to blow up those areas and make those roads. Right. Someone has to do the work. Lydia said it. We're all gonna say it. What did we do? We did the work.
Right? That's it. That's the best thing. I think this hashtag, I did the work. Period. Just like period. it. Hashtag same thing with Khalid. Listen, he could say, I did the work. The youth can't complain to you because you've done the work. You can't say anything to me when I'm out there fighting. When you are home sitting on your PS4 and 5, excuse me, right? That's what make you fearless and unapologetic.
That's right. I I like
It's a
that.
pleasure.
Let's come to you, Nichole. So I want to talk to you a little bit about who you are, where we can find you, and then I want to go a little bit over your website that we have. Okay, so this is your website, and I like the title right there. It was Nichole, the Great Motivator. How did you come up with that title?
It may sound cliche, but I'm gonna be honest. God gave it to me. I went through so many names. I had the truth, the ultimate motivator. And then all of a sudden, I don't know out of where I went to go. I think I went to go get I went to go get the domain name or something like that. And God was like, no, GR the number 8, MOTIVATOR. And once I wrote it out, I said, that's what it is. I'm Nichole, the great motivator.
I like that. And then just right in the middle, it says, exercise your right to be.
Mm-hmm.
I did the work to be who I am.
Absolutely.
And you need to exercise it. I think one question that Lydia, you asked earlier, what does it take to be consistency? I mean, you just have to make sure it's in a daily pattern. You see it, you see the progress. You have to work on yourself every single day. And then just like I said, what I like also what Nichole's doing, investing on yourself is the most important thing that we all have to do. So tell us a little bit what you do with coaching, with the programs. I love the website, the way it's set up. So for anybody who wants to get in touch with you, how do we find you where you are?
This is my website, thegreatmotivator.com. This is where you can go. Actually, I know a lot of people look at this and go, who did your website? I actually did this website. So I do self-mastery because that's what it is. I'm a self-mastery. I'm a Jill of all things, yet I'm a master of self, right? I know Nichole better than I know anything else or anyone else, right? So what I do is I allow people to exercise their right to be by owning who they are. Right. And then you have it goes in the I am group. Then you have the one-on-one where it's done in a 12-month commitment basis where the self-mastery is paired with purpose engineering. So it's dealt with the formula, which I trademark, passion plus business equal purpose. Because a lot of times people want to run a business off of passion, but you can't run business off of passion without business principles. Business is a whole beast in itself. So when you marry your business principles with the passions, you get your purpose. And then you have the startup consultation where I just deal with people with the startup. Go down a little bit, go down, I think up rather, go up. That right here. So the startup consultation, that is done within a 3-month period. I get your business up and running. There are 7 phases I take you through to make sure that you have a solidified entity that you can take to the market. My business solutions is there. I have access to justice where a lot of entrepreneurs and individuals are in business without no access to legal consultation, which is something that is not good. I also do credit repair because the first thing the youth or anyone needs to understand is money, how to manage money, how to budget it, and how to grow it. And credit is one of those things that is about you managing money, you budgeting, and you growing. If you go down, yeah, that's me. Birth your purpose. That's who Nichole is. You learn a lot about me. I am 45. I started my resume company, Presentable Resumes, in 1997. I've been running it for 25 years. That has allowed me to stay an entrepreneur. I made a character choice. Okay. I made a character choice to leave IBM, just getting hired at 70 grand. Okay. To take care of my mother who had a stroke in 2012. That's when I tell people, when you know who you are, you don't allow the world to hold you to what it thinks it is, to what it thinks you should be. Honor thou mother and my father is the first thing. So I went to take care of my mother and father, and I have in my resume company has allowed me to transform from a worker with an entrepreneur mentality to a full entrepreneur. So I teach people and I encourage people to do that.
Thank you. So for those of you who want to follow up, she's on Clubhouse. She is
Yeah.
also on Facebook, and she has also on Instagram. And then the Great Eight Motivator, right? The way you did it, the Great Motivator. That number 8 is very creative, and I do like that. So for
That's
all
all
of you,
God. Sorry, I got to give him the credit.
there
Okay,
you
go ahead.
go. So we have spent a lot of time today. We learned so much, so many to unpack. And if you have a departing word for the youth and for the parents, what message would you have, Nichole?
I just tell people self-knowledge is one hell of a drug. Get addicted. You know, yeah, get addicted to yourself. Explore, discover, reflect, and realize you are the greatness that you are. I was going to say the great I am, but you know what I mean? You are the great I am that you say you are. That's what I want to leave you with. You are the great I am that you say you are.
Amen to that. With that, we come to the end of our program. It's been a blessing. All I say to the youth, Lydia and Kaliab, you did impress me. You're amazing with everything that you're doing. And then just like Nichole said, you're gonna go and Yell is gonna shout out about you. The local students, Kaliab, are gonna thank you for the changes that you're making. And you're gonna force us to go and vote and get involved in the local elections. We need to be part of that, because the local election makes a big impact in our life, day-to-day life, than voting for a president. Local elections matter. We'll talk about, there is a lot coming up that we will unpack on those. So once again, before ending this program, this is the only thing I say. We talked about everything. If you can take one thing and apply it, it's not just about learning, we consume, but as long as we apply one thing from today, then we have accomplished what we need to do today. So I thank you again. Until I
Thank
see you
you.
on the next program, Nichole, it's
Nice
a
meeting
blessing
you
having you.
both.
Lydia, Kaliab, it's a blessing
Yes,
having both
Kaliab,
of you.
Lydia.
This is a Yoftahe Show. We are live on YouTube and Facebook channel. Please share and comment. We'll see you again, Nichole. We'll talk
Yes.
again. We get an honor to have you back on the guest as a guest, so we'll talk more. This is the Yoftahe Show. I say good night and have a blessed night to all of you.
All right, bye guys.